Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a great day. And above all else, that you are indeed looking after yourselves and one another. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. As you can see, I have a reincarnation of Freddie Mercury here, right beside me. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Schuster and I are back. We are here with second time around. We are going to be looking at our favorite sophomore releases. We've each come up with five albums each, although Bill admitted to me prior to taping that his is pretty much a multiple choice at this point in terms of choices, but in terms of sophomore releases, and that's fine. Uh, Jim and Ken are not able to make this episode, so they have graciously allowed me to read their lists on air. And yeah, this is quite the list. How was putting this list together for you, Bill?
Well, I started out with a list of 31 contenders, and I could have had more. So there's a lot of great second albums out there. Um,
31.
yeah, I tried to whittle it down to categories like, all right, here's the best by female artist. Here's the best that show great growth from one album to the next, different little categories. And finally, I was like, you know what? We're just going to wing it today and see what you come up with, and then let's see what intrigues me at the given moment. You never know; we may do more of these, so I'll have plenty
I'm
to
hoping
pick
we
from.
will. I'm hoping we will. Yeah, no, geez, I was trying to, I did one switch out yesterday. Um, but yeah, no, it was harder for me to come up with the list of like, I was trying to even come up with 10. I couldn't even do that. I came up with, okay, five's a good number, it's a decent number. I will admit I did borrow from Ken for one selection, so forgive me, Ken. But yeah, no, this was a good exercise. It was difficult for me, but it was good. It was good. It was always good to work the brain, you know what I mean? Like to get
Yeah.
your juices flowing in that respect. I'm a gracious host. My mama brought me up right. Love you, miss you, mama. And Bill is gonna go first, and then I'm gonna go with Ken's and Jim's picks and give my picks last. Okay, so go for it, Bill.
All right.
Your first one.
Okay. Let's see here. All right. I'll go back to possibly the earliest of my contenders here. I thought about going back and hitting some early jazz stuff, but nah, that gets too confusing when you go from singles and EPs into full on albums. What is the second album? So, no, I decided to skip on and go into the rock and roll era. Uh, this is one of those that I mentioned where there was a great amount of growth from the first album to the second. And in this case, it was largely due to a change of two members. Now, the original band featured future Wings member Denny Lane and Clint Warwick. They were replaced by the late John Lodge and Justin Hayward. And of course, I'm
Okay.
talking about Days of Future Past by
Oh
the
my
Moody Blues.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
I have that too. Why not? Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
this the leap from the Magnificent Moody's, their, early blues pop type stuff to this proto prog, with the thrown together London Festival Orchestra. It's huge. This is one of my all-time favorite albums. I think it's a perfect album. I love the orchestral bits as much as I love the Moody's bits. They
Hmm.
fit very well together. So, as a
Hmm.
fan of both rock and classical, this album features some of my favorite rock and some of my favorite classical. To classical fans in particular, it might seem kind of blasphemous to say that Peter Knight and the London Festival Orchestra and their bits for the Moody Blues are on a par with some of the greats I have behind me there. And
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
but no, I disagree. This stuff is just wonderful. This is a joyous album, a day in the life. Start out, the day begins, and we end with the night, nights in white satin. Of course, the day comes full circle.
Yeah.
Uh, it's very dated in a wonderful way, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
It
is
is.
very clearly 1967. This is right there with Sergeant Pepper and Are You Experienced and the Doors
Hmm.
debut, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, this album to this day amazes me and just brings me
Yeah.
happiness. So it had to be here.
Yeah. Oh, and the artwork on it. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, very much of its
oh,
time.
oh, mother lover. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's the back. There's the boys up close with their little black and white shot there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no. I have that. I recently bought it like in 2018, actually. I got it. So I'm late to the party with that, but that's a good choice. That is a good choice. Um, I'm gonna go with Jim's picks for first one for Jim, and his and these are in no sp specific order. One cup of coffee, ladies and gentlemen. I'm screwed, really. I swear, and it's only coffee in the cup. Um, this time of the day. First pick from Jim is Cowboy Junkies, Margot Timmons and company, with the Trinity Sessions. Fantastic band. I don't know if you're familiar with the Cowboy Junkies, Bill. Yeah,
Yeah, they in particular their cover of Sweet Jane off this album was kind of an alternative hit when it came out.
yeah, yeah. Sweet Jane. Yeah, and I've always loved Margot Timmons' voice. Just very sultry in her delivery. And I think Cowboy Junkies needs to be talked about more myself. But yeah, that's Jim's first pick. Uh, he didn't give me any other information except what the listing was for him. Ken's first pick is Pretenders 2 from 1981 for Pretenders. Uh, I have that as well. I have the the reissue in the album format that, the 12 by 12 format that came out a few years back. Uh, Again, another good album to talk about. Again, from 1981. My first pick is big surprise. Uh, The Tea Party with the Edges of Twilight. Yeah, big surprise. From March of 95. Uh, this album was seen as their uh, I'm not gonna say a breakout hit in the US, but this got attention on the US charts briefly. Released through EMI Canada and Chrysalis Records in the US and in the UK. Um, Produced by Jeff Martin and Ed Stacey, who had worked at that time most notably with I always say In Living Color, for their album Vivid. This album, 12 tracks in total, with sing was Fire in the Head, Sister Awake, The Bazaar. Uh, just an amazing mix of rock, heavy blues rock on the second side of the album, with Middle Eastern influences. Uh, Wonderfully done, wonderfully produced and arranged. All the instrumentation is done by the band, and it continues more in of a blues rock vein again, as I said, from their debut release of Splendor Solace. Uh, to me, the Tea Party, I've said this before, but always like a breath of fresh air for me in terms of a heavy rock band with great melody and great presentation. Just wonderful. But that's my first pick. Tea Party with the Edges of Twilight.
I am shocked that you would pick the Tea Party. It is true. Can you see the shock on my face?
Yes, yes. It's right. It's all in your beard. That's where the shock is. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Your
Actually, the
next.
most shocking part was you didn't pick another artist that we know and love as your first sophomore, but we'll leave that for later. Uh,
More on that later. Yeah,
or yeah,
exactly.
you may surprise me too. You may not go
Oh,
there.
you never know. You never know. Okay, your next pick.
All right, this is kind of similar era and along the lines of my previous pick in that there was a huge stylistic leap from the debut to the sophomore album and that there were important membership changes. Um, Mr. Al Cooper was in charge of this band for their first album, and they had a decent hit with a song called I Love You More Than You'll Ever Know. They
Okay.
were kind of a psychedelic blues based band. But by the second album, this band had multiple lineup changes, including the frontman. Al was gone, and in came one David Clayton Thomas as the lead singer.
I know where you're
And
going.
they went into much more of a mainstream pop direction, but they still kept the horn section very much in line with the likes of Chicago Transit Authority and such from this era. Lots of brass involved, but this second album was self-titled, and it was loaded with hits, and of course, it's blood, sweat, and tears. This thing is like almost the greatest hits album in and of itself. You have sometimes in winter, and when I die, God bless the child, spinning wheel, you made
No.
me so very happy. I mean, this thing is loaded.
Yeah, it is loaded. Yeah. Yeah.
This really is more than 50% of their first greatest hits album right here. But on this album, though, we have longer versions. It was the single versions on the greatest hits, and that
Yeah.
is notably different. These are extended album versions, and they kind of all blend together. So it's kind of a different experience than listening to what you might have heard on AM radio at the time, which is cool. It's nice to have both versions. Sometimes all I want is that sweet sugar of, you made me so very happy, in and out, boom, in 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But this is not that though. This is the full album version. 1969. Here's the interior, the full band lineup.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Truly
Well,
big band. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not even gonna read through every member's name. The most important membership change, of course, was Al Cooper to David Clayton Thomas.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and he has such a distinct voice.
Yes,
I mean,
very different.
even if you don't know the band name right off the bat, when you hear his voice come in, especially with Spinning Wheels, it's like, you hear the horns come in and then you hear, what goes up must come down, And it's like,
Have
okay,
to go round. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, you know who it is. Like, you know who it is. Even if you don't know the name right off the bat, it's like, okay, okay, yeah, I know.
yeah.
Yeah,
And they
it's
were one of those great bands that they were equally at home on AM
and
or at
FM.
that time
Yeah.
the upcoming
The
FM radio
burgeoning FM.
stations.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So that was not an easy line to straddle necessarily. Not very many artists managed it.
No, no. Um, when FM radio came in to play, it changed the landscape of music in terms of what was played drastically. Some would say for the good, some say for the bad, but you know what? It was a change. It was, anyways, no, it's a good choice. It's a really good choice. Uh, I'm gonna go read the next one on Jim's list, and that is Jellyfish with Spilt Milk. Uh, I know for a fact that this is Jim's favorite release from the band.
Just have
With
to have a copy close.
uh, I have a copy too, somewhere in the back here. Fantastic album. You know, Roger Manning. Andy Sturmer on lead vocals. Fantastic duo. Uh, with songs like "The Ghost at Number One," New Mistake," and there's that one track on the album, Sabrina Play on Paste, I think it's called. That to me, when I hear it, let's call it Sabrina because it's a long title. Um, when I hear it, when I hear Sabrina, I always think of Maxwell Silverhammer for some reason from the Beatles. It's got nothing to. There's the arrangement is not the same, but at all. But when I hear that, when I hear Roger's vocals, I'm thinking Maxwell Silver Hammer. You know what I mean? For some reason, and Jim understands what I was talking about when I talk about that. But no, it was a good release. It's unfortunate that this was their last release. Unfortunately, not a major seller for the band, but a good album, just a really good album. And unfortunately, I don't think that Charisma or Virgin in the U.S. Really knew what to do with the band.
No.
You know, which is unfortunate. Of
Definitely became
course,
a cult classic. It has a hardcore fan base.
definitely, definitely. It is, and it is really good. We did uh, a video, a show on that on the band called Pure Pop Perfection, uh, talking about their the band and their albums. It's a really good album, really good album. Okay, that's Jim's pick. As I go through my notes here, Ken's next choice is Elvis Costello with this year's model from 1978. Again, I'm brand new to not brand new to Elvis Costello, but I have to dive into his stuff a little more and to be more of an expert on his music. But yeah, uh, Ken loves his Elvis Costello. He really does, especially in Imperial Bedroom. And we keep talking about doing an episode on that album, and we're going to eventually, Ken, I promise. So yeah, this year's model from Elvis Costello from Ken is his next choice. My next choice on my list is Stone Temple Pilots with Purple from '94. Follow-up release to their debut release. This album for me was just 12 tracks in total. Uh, I think if you include the hidden track at the very end, at the album, singles like Vaseline, Interstate Love Song. Other songs of note on the album are Unglued, Pretty Penny. Good, just a really good rock album. A lot of heavy rhythm guitar, a lot of good lead guitar from Dean DeLeo and his brother Robert, who does on bass, who does the majority of the songwriting. Good vocals from Scott Weiland. Great drumming from Eric Kretz. I saw the band open for the Stones in '94 when this album came out. This album took off for them. It's unfortunate they couldn't sustain the success with the follow up. Tiny Music, songs from the Vatican gift shop. Oh my God! But this is a good slab of heavy melodic rock. Good, really good overdriven rhythm guitar. Other songs of note are Kitchenware and Candy Bars, which is the final track on the album. Uh, God, other songs. The Lounge Fly is another one that's a good track on this album. But you know, this is the one of those albums back in '94 where I listened from track one to track 11 and just you know wouldn't skip anything. A really good album. All right, your next one.
You liked it so much you even dressed for it.
There you go. There you go. Totally by accident, but yeah, yeah. No, again, this was just a really good. I was going to say good love song, good album. It shocked me at how good it was. I played the shit out of this album when it first came out, which is why I was so disappointed with Tiny Music when I came out in '96. I just couldn't stand it. It was just such a letdown. But this is a good follow-up uh, release. So yeah. Yep. All right, your next one.
They were pretty much the one non-Seattle
Sorry.
grunge band.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. My next one here. This going in a bit of a different direction. This isn't necessarily a huge change. This is a solo artist, so we don't have any membership changes.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just a damn good album and one of my favorites. So I'd like to give a little shout to the late great Harry Chapin, Sniper,
Ooh,
and
ooh,
other love songs.
on
There's Harry.
elect.
Look at that hair. Look at that monstrosity on top of that man's head.
Is that an Electra release? Yeah, look, I mean,
Yes, 1972 Electra.
okay. That is such a 60s album cover. I'm
There's the
sorry, but
back.
yeah. Oh my God.
And the interior, of course, is really nice because it has illustrations with the lyrics of each song, and
Yeah,
it's a gatefold, which is always nice. And yeah,
yeah,
Harry was known for being a bit maudlin. He was known for being a little bit too overly melodramatic, maybe
yeah,
uh, trying to reach for the emotions too much. But you know what? It's good to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. And Harry was
Mm,
damn good at it.
nothing wrong at all.
We won't even talk about Cats in the Cradle, which is not on this album, but that's obviously his biggest hit. And
Yeah,
that song has made more grown men cry than I would wager any song ever.
yeah. Um,
Um,
is that the album with Father to Son or Father and Son?
no, it is it this the real quick the track listing here is Sunday Morning Sunshine, Sniper, and the Baby Never Cries, Burning
Oh,
Herself. Side two is Barefoot Boy, Better Place to Be, Circle, Woman Child, and Winter Song. Um,
yeah,
there's not really any hits here. Uh, some might think of Sunday Morning Sunshine or Better Place to Be as kind
yeah,
of not really hits, but they're famous Harry Chapin cuts
yeah.
for fans. Like, Better Place to Be. If you want to come with me, then that's all right with me because I know I'm going nowhere and anywhere is a better place to be. Um, it's yeah, if you want to come here with me, then that's all right with me because I've been oh so lonely. Loving someone
Oh my
is a
God.
better way to be. Um, and of course, Sunday Morning Sunshine. You brought your Sunday morning sunshine here into my Monday morning rain. But to me, as great as those songs are, the centerpiece is the title track, Sniper.
Mhm.
This, I think, is one of the earliest mass shooter songs,
Oh my
if
God.
not the earliest. It's 9 minutes and 50 seconds, and it goes deep inside the head of a mass shooter who puts himself up in a tower and just starts taking out the locals one by one and gets into the whole psychology behind it. It's a very, very dramatic song, musically and lyrically, and it's quite intense. And I mean, look at there's the picture that goes
Yeah,
along with the
yeah,
lyrics.
yeah.
Uh,
They could have. Okay. Yeah,
so Harry's not necessarily well. Obviously, he's been dead for a very long time. I believe 1981,
yeah.
if I
From
recall
a
correctly.
car crash. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was not uh, a singer of super happy songs for the most part.
No,
He had some, but
no. I think melancholy would be his lighter points in terms of the type of music he sung and wrote. But yeah, he dived into some deep topics. The track that you're talking about the shooter reminded me of a story of a guy in the States in the late 60s. I think this maybe could have been what it was based on, where he got up in the morning, he went to work, he went, I believe on his lunch hour, went to the bell tower, a clock bell tower that was situated in the center of town, took out his rifle and started shooting people. And they discovered when they took him out, when they stopped him, they had to kill him. They discovered at his home he had shot his wife and his mother.
that very well may be the case. Then, considering the lyrics in the song here,
Yeah.
I don't
And
recall if that was, but that would definitely add up.
And yeah, and I want to mention that as recently as last week, in BC, um, small town in BC, where a woman, 18-year-old, opened fire at a school, um, and murdered uh, 9 people, including a teacher and students as young as 10 years old. And she took her own life. But they also found at her home, her mother had been murdered along with her half brother, stepbrother, 11 years old, and the mother was 39. Um, so yeah, it's a disturbing
Yeah.
situation. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, we
but yeah,
get lots of it, and there have been many other songs beyond this one that have covered the topics. Elton John, Ticking,
yeah,
the big one. I Don't Like Mondays with the Boomtown Rats,
yeah,
Jeremy, Pearl Jam, all that. So
yeah,
many. Just,
yeah. And in this town in BC, 2,400 people maximum. Um, so yeah, everyone knew everyone else. So
yeah, the kind of town where
disturbing.
everybody knows each other's business. It's
700
taking out the
kilometers north of Edmonton. So yeah, it's quite disturbing. But we have to carry on, ladies and gentlemen. Uh,
hopefully on a happier note.
yes, well, Jim's next pick is from Suzanne Vega, Solitude Standing. Um, now, ladies and gentlemen, Jim and Ken did not leave me any information about the albums here that we're talking about on their picks. Is this the album with Luca, I believe?
Um, I am just now checking that very thing.
That's right, because Luca was the biggest hit.
Yes,
Yeah,
Luca and Tom's Diner, the original version, were both on Solitude Standing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Luca was a major hit. That at 86, 87. For me. I remember that. I remember that track in the video for it. Good choice. Good
Now,
choice.
Luca, mind you, is not exactly an upgrade in happiness from talking
No,
about mass shooters.
no, no, no. If you hear something late at night, some kind of trouble, some kind of fight, just don't ask me what it was. Just don't ask me what it was, you know. So yeah, it's not obviously talking about domestic abuse um, in the home, but no,
Against
it's
children in particular. Yeah.
but yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, we're going to go on a happier note, ladies and gentlemen, for our
Come on,
next
Ken.
choices.
Bring us some sunshine and rainbows.
Uh, yeah. Well, Ken's next choice is Stephen Stills with Stephen Stills 2 from 1971. He had mentioned on another show that we did that he felt that Stephen Stills' first few albums were his favorite ones, released to, I believe, Columbia Records. I really don't know that much about the Stephen Stills 2 album, but that this is Ken's choice. I will say Stephen Stills is a much underrated multi-instrumentalist in terms of the work he did with Crosby, Stills Nash and Crosby, Stills Nash and Young, and his own solo work. But yeah, very underrated musician. But interesting choice. Okay, moving on. And I don't. Sorry, were you looking up
No,
something?
I was just doing a quick. I was trying to remember. Change Partners was the hit off of
Oh,
Steven's
okay.
second solo album.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry for that. I didn't know. Okay. All right. Moving on. I don't know if this is going to be any better.
Woo.
And this is where Ken and I cross over once. My next one is Seal with CO2 from 1994. Follow up to his debut release Seal, self-titled. major upgrade in terms of the previous release, featuring produced by Trevor Horn, featuring musical contributions and playing from Wendy Melvoin and Lisa Coleman of The Revolution, ex of The Revolution at the time,
Royalty.
with songs like Royalty, yeah, with songs like Bring It On, Prayer for the Dying, the lead off single, Dreaming in Metaphors, Don't Cry, my favorite track on the album, Kiss from a Rose, my God, I'm Alive If I Could, featuring the duet with Joni Mitchell, featuring guitar work from Jeff Beck, and it ends with God, Newborn Friend. Also features the reprieve of Bring It On, a major upgrade from the first album, I think. Just fantastic. I've always loved Seal's voice and the production, especially from on Don't Cry, very orchestral. I was going to say orchestral, with with the strings. Wonderful contributions from Lisa Coleman and Wendy Melvoin, uh, among the principal players on the album. You,
Sorry, I thought I had my copies right here, but I do not. We like that album so much around here that Stacy and I have two copies of it.
oh
It's
really?
just
Okay,
that
no, no,
they're
no,
not quite where I thought they were.
that's okay. I always put the graphic up, so it's okay.
Okay.
Um, okay, your next choice?
Well, let's see. Now you're making me think I need to pick something a little happier after our
No, I know.
descent into darkness.
Jeez.
So let's see here. Let me go with. All right. This was not at all where I was going, but this is something nice and fairly shallow and simple. And
Okay, yeah, we need that after this. Yeah, definitely.
all right. Uh, there was a time in 1983, 84 where this was my favorite band. It didn't last past that point, really, or past their second album. But man, I still love these first two albums. Uh, the second album was not necessarily an upgrade over the second, or I mean over the first, but it was a commercial upgrade.
Hmm.
They sharpened their pop hooks and learned the importance of ballad type songs. Uh, and they taught us that you can still rock in America. This is Night Ranger with Midnight Madness. That's right. Look at that, buddy. Yeah, I rocked that surgical outfit as part of one of my 80s fashions, just to throw that out there for the record.
Oh my God.
Alan Fitzgerald, the keyboard player, led the way with his fashion choices, and I carried
Okay.
on with it. Here's the back cover, of course, with their made up little street scenes.
Okay. Is that the one with Sister Christian?
Yes, it is. That is the big hit from the album, and there was also "When You Close Your Eyes" was a substantial hit as well, and that's actually my favorite from the album. Uh, but yeah, these guys they weren't super deep, but they rocked hard and had great hooks. You know, Brad Gillis had prior to Night Ranger had played with Ozzy Osbourne's solo
Yeah.
band.
Yeah.
He played on the album "Speak of the Devil," where Ozzy, re-recorded old Sabbath hits live.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, Brad,
Yeah.
Brad was a major player and still is as a guitar player. And then of course Jack Blades went on to join Damn Yankees. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and Kelly Kagi, of course, the drummer, was actually the writer and singer of the big hit "Sister Christian."
Hmm.
So they had multiple singers here. Not, I might as well mention Jeff Watson since he's the only one I haven't pointed out. Sorry,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah.
But yeah, these guys were kind of briefly big,
Yeah.
and then they almost completely fell off the radar.
Yeah.
But this is a fun, catchy, mainstream rock album of 1983, 84.
Yeah.
It's a perfect representation of this kind of music for this era. And I still don't know what the hell Sister Christian's about, but I bought this thing when it came out because I loved the first album. So it was months before Sister Christian became a hit.
Yeah,
So when it did become a hit, I was like, yes, that's my band. I love
yeah,
this. This is
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I remember though they did fall off the map, and they came back with like they had a hit, they had a single or song on the soundtrack for A Secret of My Success with Michael J. Fox, and they did like well, they did the title track from that
Yes, they
cheat, and
did.
it's so fucking cheesy. I'm sorry. I mean, like, I mean, the movie was all right, right? But I mean, for 80 schmaltz, but it was just this song was just so fucking cheesy, like, it's like, oh my God, you want some cheese whiz with that kind of thing? It's like, ugh. I mean,
Yeah, I was pretty well over them by then. But to be fair to them, though, prior to that, they did put out
yeah,
their third album, which was loaded with mostly more ballad hits, Sentimental Street, Goodbye, Four in the Morning. Uh, and it was pretty successful.
okay.
Strangely, I never bought it, which is weird considering how much I absolutely loved those first two albums.
Well, I
But
mean,
there you go. You never know
yeah,
what makes us decide these things.
that's exactly it. That's exactly it, right? All right. Jim's next pick is the Police Regarded the Blanc. Uh, yeah, he loves this album. Refresh my memory. Is this the one with Roxanne on it?
Let me examine my police message in a box set.
There you
We'll
go.
see here.
There you go. Yeah. Go,
No, Roxanne was on the debut.
on the debut album, that's right. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Um, yeah, Jim is a major fan of the Police, especially of this album. But no, it is a good choice.
yeah, we're looking at the most known songs on this would be "Message in a Bottle" and "Walking on the Moon."
I'm walking on the moon message and well, yeah. To me, the Police have always been a band. Like I've had, obviously, Synchronicity was a major hit for them. But to me, the Police have always been a band. Like the greatest hits for me would have been enough, kind of thing.
Essentially, yeah, I have
Um,
this set and I dig it, but really, I agree.
yeah.
The hits largely are where it's at with these guys.
Okay. Ken's next pick is Robin Trower, Bridge of Sighs from '74,
Oh
released from
yeah, I almost
Chrysalis.
picked that.
Amazing guitar player. Like almost like a blues-based guitar player in terms of his soloing and his compositions. I have a collection of his of 10 of his albums. They come in the it came in the clamshell box uh, a couple of years back. I haven't really, I dived into one album and that was it. But yeah, Bridge of Sighs, good choice. So Robin Trower is touted as a major influence by many artists. Again, I would say more of a blues rock player. What would you
I
say?
had to resist the urge to get my vinyl copy back here or my CD copy over here. Yeah, so
Well,
I
you
have a
can go.
couple more albums by him, but yeah, Bridge of Sighs is that's a necessity if you are a fan of classic blues rock of the early mid 70s
Yeah.
era. Yeah, it's necessary.
Okay. All right. My next pick. We'll talk about depressing. My God, but a major album. Tears for Fears, songs from the Big Chair.
Now,
Uh, Released February 25th of 1985. A major album at the time was Shout, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, Mother's Talk, uh, Head Over Heels. But the entire album is good. You've got on side one, you've got Shout, The Working Hour, which is the original title for the album, featuring Mel Collins on sax of King Crimson. Everybody Wants to Rule the World, Mother's Talk. That's side one. Side two, you've got I Believe, Broken, Head Over Heels, Broken, Reprieve, and then Listen. Just an amazing album. I've always said that Tears for Fears for me were listed. I would categorize them as thinking man's pop. You know what I mean? Just not. they were lumped into the other bands at the time, like Wham and the other synth pop bands. But Tears for Fears, I mean, th they were more sort of very introspective, uh, very dark, very deep lyrics in terms of, I mean, they based their band on scream therapy in terms of like, you know what I mean? And songs from the Big Chair was based basically the themes were basically based on uh the movie Sybil with Sally Field from 76,
I remember it well.
yeah, and which deals with a woman dealing with split personality disorder. So yeah, not your typical let's go out, let's get married, let's have a baby kind of a situation, you know what I mean? But there's that
And yet
infant,
still joyful.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you listen to Everybody Wants to Rule the World and uh, Head Over Heels on the radio, lyrics aside, I mean, musically and vocally, it just that sounded like happy music.
Melodic is all get out, but when you listen to
Yeah.
the lyrics of Everybody Wants to Rule the World, welcome to your life, there's no turning back, even while you sleep, we will find you. It's like, okay, what the fuck have I been smoking that I'm hearing? Am I hearing this right? Do you hear this shit? Like it's, and songs like Broken, between the searching and the need to work it out, I stop believing everything will be all right. Broken, we are broken. It's like, all right, he's going deep on this one, and I'm getting out of here now. It's that kind of a thing. But yeah. But and you see, because and even for me, my brother-in-law used to take me out shopping for records. Mario, who's no longer with us, and he would take me out, and we'd go on a Friday night. We'd go shopping for records in downtown Toronto at all the record shops on Yonge Street. And on our second trip downtown, because he would tell me like in April, start saving your money because we're going to go out. We're going to go out like when the weather gets warmer. So he'd call me like, okay, I'm going to come get you tomorrow. We're going to go out. I had my money saved up, and this was the second album I bought when we went out shopping together. I bought this one, and I bought Welcome to the Pleasure Dome. Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Right. And yes, I'm ashamed to admit it, David Lee Roth, Crazy from the Heat, the EP.
There's no
But
shame in David Lee Roth.
mm, okay. All right.
He was
But
a master at what he did. Maybe not so much anymore, but
yeah, but yeah, no, this album was a major player at the time. Uh an amazing album. There's not one song I would skip on this album. Uh I was listening to it yesterday, getting ready for today. I'm like, oh yeah, this is good. Uh, okay, I got it. Those drums may be synthetic, they may be programmed, but man, they fucking kick ass. Especially on Broken. And the bass playing, mic drop, mic drop for Kurt Smith. My God. But an amazing album. Songs from the Big Chair. Uh, if you haven't heard it yet, what are you waiting for? But yeah, anyways, your next choice.
all right, this is number five already, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, let's see. Here's some records I'm picking from. I got some CDs down here too,
Oh my
so I'm just
God.
going to go for the one on front. All right. This was a an upgrade from the first. Some would disagree, but the first album by this band was raw and featured more contributions from a former member who went on to start his own band that was quite famous and still is. Uh, but these guys on this second album became more refined and they actually got a little bit of radio play, at least where I was at in Denver at the time. A song called Fade to Black, which is still my favorite song by this band, was actually played on one of the rock stations in Denver. The band is Metallica.
Ah,
Ride
Ride
the
the
Lightning is the
Lightning.
album, the follow up to Kill 'Em All.
Ooh,
And yeah, Fade to Black. Well, yeah, sorry, we're back in dark territory again. This is essentially a song about somebody who is in the process of dying, wanting to die, giving up on life. So it's not sunshine and rainbows at all,
no.
but it is such a great song. It is so powerful. Just it starts out. It's one of those essentially the Stairway to Heaven format where it starts out slow and acoustic and builds and builds and builds, and by the end it's just absolutely kicking your ass, rocking out, and great stuff. I mean, this is when these guys were much younger, of course. There's James Hetfield, looks nothing like he does now.
Yeah,
Kirk Hammett, the late Cliff Burton, who was, of
yeah,
course, on their first three albums
yeah.
and a very important member. Their three best albums, frankly. And
Hmm.
Lars, well, Lars Ulrich. Okay.
Is that a blackened? Is that a blackened recordings reissue?
Yes, it is.
Their own imprint. Okay, cool, cool.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
you'd
This
have
is
the.
not an original. If this was an original, trust me, in my possession, it would not be in this great a shape.
I know. Okay, okay.
I had the originals on cassette.
Oh, okay.
So I have managed to get vinyl copies of this and Master of Puppets, and eventually I'm going to get around to Kill Them All and call it good. I don't really need anything else.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, but this whole album is one of the greatest metal albums of all time. I think this and Master of Puppets are pretty much tied. If I had to pick one, I'd go with this one because of Fade to Black. It remains my favorite Metallica song.
Yeah.
And it follows up. I mean, side one is Fight Fire with Fire, Ride the Lightning, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Fade to Black. That's like a perfect album side.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest metal album sides ever.
Yeah. And that the Call of Cthulhu is not on that album, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the closer on side two.
The
And
instrumental.
Creeping Death, Trapped Under Ice, Escape. Some people smack talk Escape, but I have no problems with it. I think it's an excellent song. It fits
Yeah.
right in here. Um, yeah, these guys take a lot of shit for good reasons because, well, they're kind of douchebags a lot of times. But in these early days, though, man, I remember listening to these back in the 80s when they were current and there was nothing like it. We thought we were so cool listening to Metallica. Like this was the latest, greatest, most amazing thing ever. And it seemed so hard and heavy then.
Yeah.
Not so much now, but it still rocks. It still kicks ass.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
Obviously, I bothered to give these yahoos money when I swore 20 years ago I never would give them another penny.
Okay.
But here I am. I got my new copy of Ride the Lightning. So
Yeah, there you go. There you go. No,
hypocrite, whatever. Here I am.
that's a good one. That's a good one. All right. Jim's last pick is from Sean Colvin called Fat City. Now, I know of Sean Colvin, but the only thing I know of her work is from the track Sunny Came Home. So would this be the album that Sunny Came Home was from, or
I am not sure. My knowledge of Sean Colvin largely comes from my knowledge of Mary Chapin Carpenter, who
Carpenter?
was friends with her and collaborated some.
Okay. All right. Okay. Um, I, I I like her voice. Her voice is very soothing, very calming. Great tone in her voice. But I mean, again, I really don't know that much about the album Fat City, but that is Jim's pick. For last pick for number four.
It was one of the greatest punk albums ever. Just trust us on this, folks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Sex Pistols, Clash,
yeah,
forget it.
yeah.
Sean Colvin is
There
the
you
queen of
go.
punk.
There
All
you
right,
go.
I'm
Uh,
lying. I'm lying. Never mind. It's
yeah,
not punk at all. I'm
I
pretty
know.
sure.
I know. I know it's not. Uh, Ken's number one pick, and I knew this was the one album that we crossed over with. Seal with Seal 2. He loves these two albums. Seal 2 he thinks is amazing. Again, for every reason, all the reasons why I said, just copy and paste. In terms of the reasons why. Uh, yeah, and it's if you want an album that for Seal, if you want an album that is melodic but yet textured and introspective and uh, just contemplative at the same time, this is the album for you. His duet with Joni Mitchell on "If I Could," and he would go on and to duet with Joni Mitchell on Turbulent Indigo with "How Do You Stop." But yeah, this album with contributions again from Lisa Coleman and Wendy Melvoin, two of the most underrated musicians I've ever heard of in my life. I mean, Wendy Melvoin plays bass, guitar, keyboards, drums, can sing her ass off. Uh, Lisa Coleman, amazing classical trained pianist, uh, just wonderful. And the fact that these two collaborated on this album with Seal, mic drop, mic fucking drop moment, I swear to God. But
And
that's
who
sorry,
was the producer?
Trevor Horn.
Thank you. Another connection to many other great artists as well, Trevor Horn. So,
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Uh, Wonderful, wonderful release. But that's Ken's number one choice. Now, my number one choice, Queen with Queen 2. I wasn't going to pick Queen, but screw it. I love
can't help it
Queen.
seeing that pillow.
Exactly. No, no, no. It was there anyway. But I knew you were going to do that. I love that pillow. I love that pillow. Um, Queen 2 released in 74 um, was Queen's, I guess you could say, adventure into, some would say, progressive rock, glam rock, art rock. Again, produced by Roy Thomas Baker with additional production by Robert and Jeffrey Gable or Cable. And songs like Nevermore, and I do believe he helped produce, co-produce The March of the Black Queen. Album separated into side white and side black. All of side two written by Freddie Mercury, Ogre Battle, Fairy Fellows, Masterstroke, Nevermore, The March of the Black Queen, Funny How Love Is, which was never done live on stage, by the way, and the one single from the album, Seven Seas of Rye. And I hope everyone out there has got their Queen 2 box set. By the time this has come out, will be released. Um, I'm going to get mine too. I just think that with this album, uh, Roger Taylor, I'm going to backtrack. Roger Taylor, I said that this was where the group had found their sound. And I would agree. I would agree. The new remix that is out now uh, has been labeled by Brian May as a Queen, as a rebuild of the album. The new box set has a Dolby Atmos mix of the album, also 5-point surround sound, I would imagine. Just an amazing piece of work. Some people would call this album pretentious. I'd say go yourself. I think it's an amazing piece of work. I think it's Queen's statement that they had arrived. They were no longer relegated to recording on off hours at 2 o'clock in the morning when the studio was being used at Trident. They were given proper money and proper support to record an album. And for a 3 month recording period, to do this album, this was an amazing piece of work. An amazing piece of work. It's Queen, and yeah, people probably are going to say, "What about Night at the Opera? What about Day at the Races? What about Jazz?" I love those albums. I love Queen. I will always love Queen until the day I die. But to me, this is my favorite album. It hits me on an emotional level that I'm surprised nothing else has ever done. And that's my number one, bar none. So, and as you can tell, Bill is so surprised by my
I am
choice.
shocked.
Yes, yes.
I
Um,
prefer the debut, of course, but that's not a sophomore album, so I couldn't talk about it here. But Queen 2 is awesome.
just the fact that A little side note, when they were recording the March of the Black Queen, the tape was run through the machine so many times with overdubs and bouncing over the tracks to one channel that by the time they finished the track, the oxide had been removed completely from the tape. It was pretty much see-through. So they had to get it to an acetate, like get it to a master tape, sorry, not acetate, a master tape before they would lose anything else on the recording. And the original title for this album was Over the Top. It was going to be called Over the Top.
Appropriate.
And listening to what was on this release, come on, right, it was over the top. But you know what? It's wonderful. It is wonderful. Can you tell I love this album? It is wonderful. And I'm nothing in their catalog for me can top this. Nothing. And hopefully everyone out there has their box set of Queen 2 and enjoy it. That is my number one album of sophomore releases.
Now, 70s punk rock fans want to know,
Yes.
did March of the Black Queen by Queen give birth to Queen of Spades by Styx?
I have no idea. I have no idea. But at the time, in terms of being, because people have belabored the point, is this progressive rock? Uh, is this album pretentious enough to be labeled as progressive rock? I would say the themes of the album could be labeled as progressive rock. Certainly, songs like Ogre Battle, White Queen, which was a poem that Brian May wrote in 1969 that he put to music. Uh, the the layers of guitars, the 11-piece section of the March of the Black Queen, backwards gong going off on Ogre Battle. Uh, yeah, it could be labeled as progressive rock in some circles, but uh, no, not as much as Yes was at the time. I would call it art rock with heavy progressive leanings myself. But I just think it's an amazing piece of work.
Yeah.
Even from the artwork, from like the album cover packaging, like the classic Mick Rock cover, to Freddie Mercury doing the Marlene Dietrich pose from the
Oh,
movie Blue Angel, where he saw where I mean, and quickly, I know I'm belaboring it, but when they sat Mick Rock down to sit and listen to the acetate of this album, the first pressing, his comment was, Ziggy Stardust meets Led Zeppelin. And they said, yeah, that's what we're going
there.
for. That's what we're going for. Ziggy Stardust meets Led Zeppelin. That's it. So he got it. And he brought this picture of Marlene Dietrich for the album cover idea for to Freddie Mercury. And Freddie Mercury said, yes, that's it. And I shall be Marlena. So he'll be the one with the hands crossed. Um, Masterstroke. Never mind
The
the
Fairy Feller's
Fellows
master stroke, no
masterstroke.
way.
But
Yeah.
it was a masterstroke of an idea. It was wonderful. So there you have it. That's my number one.
Nice. Okay, would you like me to throw out a few quick honorable mentions, or you want to save them for a future episode?
We can save them for a future episode.
Okay, that
Okay.
works.
All right.
I have plenty.
Okay. I know you do. I know you do. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you had 31. Anyways, 31
And
choices.
that
All
was
right.
just the starter set.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're at the end of the episode. We have been having technical difficulties on Bill's end, unfortunately. So we're going to end this now before our computers blow up from trying to get
We're
this
getting
done.
bad internet here at the North Pole.
Yeah. Yeah. Sandy didn't pay the bill. But anyways, ladies
Bought
and
too many
gentlemen,
presents.
exactly. Please put down your choices for favorite sophomore releases. Uh, yeah, there's no right or wrong answers, just opinion. And if it looks like we went off script with this episode, we fucking did. We had no choice but to. Anyways, again, please put your comments down below for your choices and click like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And join us on X. Uh, for these episodes, I'm putting them on X now. And I want to thank Bill for joining me on this very entertaining unexpected, events happening on this episode. And we will be back with an episode called Outlaws and Heroes, where Bill is going to give us his take and his list of favorite country rock artists. This is
Yeehaw!
There you go. He's going to be wearing overalls and going to be, you know, chewing on a bit of hay and in his teeth.
Spit some tobacco on the screen.
Exactly. Going,
All right,
around
maybe
this.
not, maybe not. Country rock doesn't always fit the stereotypes. I'll just say that.
There you go. There you go. No, we're not going to do that. But no, he's going to give us his list of favorite country rock albums. Again, this is not my area of expertise. So Bill has agreed to lead the episode, and it's going to be great. All right. So again, click like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new episodes we got coming up. And join us on X and join the conversation with us, please. Please look after yourselves and one another, and we'll see you soon again on the Music Den. Bye for now.